have another great recipe to share with you guys that made the rounds on the interwebs not too long ago. This recipe comes from Bella of Steak and Butter Gal. She has a YouTube channel and Instagram. I will put the link to the video that she did for this recipe up in the cards. This recipe is almost zero carb. It has plenty of protein. It's super easy. It's made in the Instant Pot, and it's been one of my go-tos when I want something comforting, a little bit sweet, or if I'm just getting sick of eating eggs the traditional ways. This recipe is a great way to change it up. So the base of this recipe is just 2 ingredients. The first one is eggs, and I'm gonna do 6 eggs. You can also do a smaller version of this recipe, but the cooking time will change. So the larger version makes 2 really good sized servings. I'm just gonna crack all of these into my glass measuring cup, and glass measuring cup works the best. I'm gonna beat these eggs up with a fork real quick. Now this is where you can start getting creative. The next ingredient you want to put in is some kind of a liquid. You can do almond milk, you could do heavy cream, you could do half and half, coconut milk, you could even do broth if you want to make a savory pudding. I have not tried that yet, but Bella recommends that. It's a traditional way that her mom would make it. But usually when I want to do this recipe, it's because I want something a little bit sweet. So you can choose whatever liquid you want to put in there, but I'll tell you my favorite, and what I'm doing today is just water. And when I dress it up at the end, you will see why water is my liquid of choice in this recipe. So as far as measurement, what you want to do is see where your eggs came up to, and mine came up to just over a cup. Because the size of eggs vary, you do want to measure how much the eggs end up being, because you want to add an equal amount of liquid to the eggs. So since I have a little over a cup, I'm going to go to about 2 1/4 cups with the water. Just gonna mix that up real quick, and it's actually all ready to cook. This egg pudding is steamed, so I am adding about 1 1/2 cups of water to the bottom of my Instant Pot, and that will create the pressure and build the steam that cooks the pudding. The dish I'm gonna be cooking in is just this very simple stainless steel mixing bowl. And I have this handy dandy silicone trivet that I love, that's super easy, but you can use the trivet that comes along with your Instant Pot. That will work fine as well. You can see how incredibly simple this recipe is, and it's one that I love to do in the morning because it's nice and warm. It kind of feels like oatmeal or porridge or something, and it's just so quick to throw together. Not to mention it can also be extremely frugal since eggs are the main ingredient. I'm going to cover the bowl with aluminum foil, and this is an important step to allow it to steam correctly. The handles of this trivet clip together like that, which makes it super convenient. Lowering the trivet down into the Instant Pot and locking the lid. If your model doesn't seal automatically, make sure you move it to the sealing position. I'm gonna hit pressure cook, and the cook time for this recipe is 12 minutes if you're doing the 6 eggs. You have to cook it on low pressure, so toggle over to low pressure with the pressure level button. If you cook it on high pressure, it does not cook right. I definitely experimented with that, and it's way better when you cook it on low pressure. So unfortunately, if you have a Luxe model Instant Pot, which doesn't have the low pressure option, it probably won't work for you, and I'd recommend trying the stovetop version, because there is a stovetop version as well that I had moderate success with. Sometimes it would come out really well, sometimes not. But if you don't have an Instant Pot, or if you have the Luxe Instant Pot, go check out the stovetop version. I will link that up in the cards. You can do it, little buddy. I believe in you. 12-minute cook time is complete, so I am going to release the pressure quickly. You don't want it sitting in there or it will overcook. All right, let's check this out. Look at that. It's got a little jiggle to it, which is what you want. It looks similar to cheesecake. All right, the way that Bella does it is she just cuts it into squares like this. It's very satisfying. And then you can top it however you want. If you're doing the savory version with broth, you can add soy sauce and some sesame oil, maybe some chopped scallions on top. But my favorite thing to add is just some heavy cream. And then if you need a sweetener, add some stevia or allulose. I've started adding some of this allulose stevia blend, and it's really good. And the reason I like cooking my egg pudding with just water is because I prefer to put the calorie dense stuff on top, which is for me heavy cream. I just like to add a little bit of that on top. A sprinkle of the sweetener, although I have had this plenty of times when I was avoiding sweeteners, and just with the heavy cream on top is delicious. And then if you want to get real fancy, you can add some fresh raspberries or any other berry, any kind of fruit you like. I love how versatile this recipe is. I've seen some people do a chocolate pudding where they mix some kind of a chocolate inside and then do whipped cream on top, which looks delicious. You could experiment with putting different liquids with the eggs or different flavorings, adding the sweetener right into the egg mixture. There are so many ways to personalize this and make it your own. I love doing the sweetener and the cream on top because that kind of coats each piece, and so I get more of the flavor of those two things with each bite rather than mixing it in with the pudding. But it's just such a fun and versatile recipe. It's easy, it's cheap, it's quick, it has no weird ingredients, and it's delicious. I'll give you a close-up on what it looks like. It's nice and jiggly. It really does look like flan or cheesecake. Super, super good. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you again real soon.